probably knee deep in rehearsals now. Are you missing a rehearsal now, or?
No, we finished at 5 o'clock today.
And then, do you rehearse up until the day that the play begins, or do you get any time off to kind of?
No, we rehearse all the way, and then we go into tech, which we put all the lights and sounds and all that, and the sets and stuff together, and then up until previews and then opening.
Okay.
So all the way up to
So let's talk about the play. You can tell me if I'm mangling the plot. I haven't seen it, obviously, but I've read it. There's 4 characters.
Right.
There's a white billionaire who's been accused of raping a black woman.
Right.
He says, there was definitely sex. He says it was consensual. He comes in to want to be represented by 2 senior attorneys, one of whom is white, one is black, and then they have a young assistant who is black. And Mamet has described it as a courtroom drama without the courtroom, but at the same time, it's more so a dialogue, often a hostile, cynical dialogue about race and about how we can't really ever discuss race honestly, and we certainly can't judge it honestly in the court of law. Did I nail that?
Yeah, I think you did. That was great.
Thank you.
That was great.
So you play Jack.
I play one of the lawyers.
One of the lawyers, and tell us a little bit about him. He is about as cynical as you can get, I would say.
Yeah, I guess. It's they are partners. It's my law firm and I have a black partner, and we're defending, as you said, a white defendant accused of raping a black woman, and we also have a black associate. So it's set up as a powder keg, and the discourse is about race. We don't get into the courtroom. It's all about taking the case. So that's what the play is about, us deciding whether or not to take the case. And then something happens in the play, I don't want to give it away, where we become sort of forced to take the case, and then where we go from there.
And in discussing whether to take the case, it's all about, well, at one point I think maybe it's Jack who says, we can't, if we win, we lose, and if we lose,
But actually, my partner says
okay.
that. The black partner says it. He says, if we lose, we lose, and if we win, we lose.
Because we've defended a white billionaire and gotten him off.
Right. And then the court, and the dialogue becomes, what is it to be a defense attorney? You know what I mean? Like, what is that job, to defend people who you may believe are guilty?
Which it's unclear whether they do or not.
Right.
And it ultimately, at least at the beginning, to them, doesn't even matter. They're saying it doesn't matter what the objective facts are in the case, because that doesn't matter to the jury.
Right. And it doesn't matter to me. It matters a little bit more to my partner, but I have a line where I say it doesn't affect me except as it affects our pocketbook. We get paid. This is what we do. And you talk to these defense lawyers, and what they think their job is, and not what they think, but what their job is defending the Constitution.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They said, like, you have to defend guilty people, and because what they're saying is you have to be able to prove someone's guilty. That's the onus on the state. You have to prove someone's guilty, and because if you can't, then anyone could get railroaded. Any of us could, for any reason, for anything.
But Jack doesn't strike me as, and maybe he does, maybe part of him does, but he's not talking in lofty terms like the Constitution. He's talking about, I think at one point, I think it's him that says, it's about, we have to put on the best show.
Right.
Okay.
They look, that's it. There we did it. But he likens the jury to an audience. And I think that, and it is the audience is the jury, and the lawyer is the performer. And so I think Jack doesn't look at it in terms of the moral implications of the case. He just looks at it as, can we win or can we lose?
The play, Mamet has said that all good plays are about lies, and the play is over when a lie is revealed. What are the lies in this play?
Well, no one's telling the truth in this play. And there was a line where the defendant says, what does that have to do with the facts of the case? And they said, there are no facts. They're just 2 fictions. And it's the same thing we say. It's like, there's your side of the story, their side of the story, and then there's the truth. Right?
Sure.
So that's what the crux of that is.
But one side of the story is, I was raped.
Right.
One side is, I didn't. And
Right.
one of those is correct.
Right.
Okay.
He said, she said.
Right.
But that's what a rape case is. So we found out.
He also, so Mamet said, and correct me if I'm getting this wrong, but he said that the impetus for the play, or he decided to write the play after he heard Chris Rock saying, it was right around the time of Reverend Wright, the whole Reverend Wright controversy, and he said, Chris Rock said, people are surprised that Reverend Wright, a 75-year-old black guy, hates white people.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Every 75-year-old black
right.
person hates white people. In the play, Mamet uses that line. I think a couple of people might say it, but it's not 75-year-olds. It's all black people hate white people. The cast is obviously black and white. The director is black. With lines like that, which are certainly coming out of a character's mouth, it's not the universal truth or anything, but is it hard for you as actors to bridge those walls? Do you think about those issues, or do you just think about the script?
I mean, I think we think about it. It's interesting because the Mamet is he's not PC. So we talk about it, and there's lots of forbidden words, you know what I mean,
Sure.
that are used in the play, but the interesting thing is that Mamet continually says there's nothing a white person can say to a black person about race which is not both incorrect and offensive. But what's interesting about that is that
He's doing
Mamet's written it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he is the white man holding forth on race. So.
Do you like the play?
Yeah. I do. I mean, I think it's. I mean, for me, it's great. I'm on stage the whole time. What's not to like? You know what I mean? But it is. I think it's. I mean, I hope it. I think it's really brings up things that are very controversial. And what's great about someone like Mamet in this day and age is that he really just puts it out there. He really puts it out there for people to discuss.
I mean, he is. And I don't know whether he's always been this way, but in the past few years, he just recently wrote a book. He's come out as being very, very right-wing.
Oh, he's a conservative asshole.
Right, okay.
Right now, I mean, there's no question.
So the question is, that shouldn't matter, but it's hard. It's just human when you see a play, and if you know that, to think about those things. And there's certainly things in the play that, as you say, are not politically correct, but he's also saying things to the effect of, Jack might say to the young assistant, well, you can get away with it because you're black, or that this guy is going to be, if he's in trouble because 50 years ago he would have gotten away with it.
Right.
Nowadays it's the complete opposite. So he's kind of taking that, almost that whites have it harder in some senses, not overall.
I don't know if he's saying that. I mean, the thing that I agree with in the play the most, there's a line that I have where I say, can we call things by their name? And I love that. It just says, can we just say what something is?
Sure.
So that's it's interesting because you're talking about having kids, and I have a 4-year-old, and we read to her, and it's interesting when I don't know if you've had this experience where there's all these children's books that are very PC. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. You can't what they're, and then you go to the library and we get old books like do you guys remember Curious George?
Sure.
So like if you read Curious George to your kid.
Yeah, and that was taken as being, at one point, a racist
I don't know
fable.
if it was or not, but I can tell you that they take a monkey out of the jungle.
Right.
They capture him. They say you're going to have a better life. At one point, they give George a pipe to smoke.
Right,
So they give him a bath. And so there's like kids that he's smoking in a children's book, which is refreshing. In a way. You know what I mean?
Why do you, let's just talk about, I guess, when did you start acting? You've been doing this for years and years. Did you know as a kid that this was a career that you could do?
I started out as I ended up where all untalented kids end up, which is being a magician. You gravitate to that. I was a magician as a kid. I used to do.
But there's something about comedians and actors who love magic. Steve Martin, Woody Allen, a lot of them.
And I would do like birthday parties and bar mitzvahs and like the Moose Lodge and the Kiwanis Club, and it really is the province of the untalented. But I ventured into acting somewhere along the line. And sort of been stuck there ever since, or with that ever since.
Is there a trick you could do right now?
I probably should have brought something, but next time I'll bring it.
Okay, yeah. You can't just make this
right.
mug disappear.
No,
that's not the way it works. It's
right,
not
exactly.
actual magic.
You actually need
There's a trick.
There's
that
a
goes,
trick.
Right, I got you.
That's what right. There's truly like it. You got to go buy a gimmick. And
there's a book that you read.
Right.
And
It's not actually disappearing. This is rooting for you, you know.
God damn it! Every month my dreams get crushed a little bit
worse,
more.
worse and worse.
So did you were born in Chicago, but you grew up in Kankakee?
Yeah, you've been doing your research.
I read one article.
Yeah, yeah, born here, and then I grew up in Kankakee.
And then when did you come back?
I don't know, I was like 18.
Okay, and then were you acting ever since?
Yeah,
you came back?
I've been here pretty much ever since.
What are some of the highlights for you?
Of my career here?
Yeah, or just seeing big, nice buildings.
Because it's just an exercise in humiliation. You know, people say if you're an actor and you say, like, what have you done? And then you say something, you go, no, I've heard that.
No.
What about that?
I'll just nod my head and say I've seen them all.
Right, that one. No, I've done.
I saw the Albee play.
Well, thank you.
Did you enjoy that? Was
I did. I had a great time doing that.
That seems like, what are you attracted to? Obviously, these parts are very different, but are you attracted to parts where you can be combative, assertive?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm lucky to the sense that I've become a character actor in Chicago, which means that there's work for me, you know, as a getting to be a little bit of an older guy and in a town like this where there are plays that are produced that have roles like that. So, but, you know, so I'm attracted to the parts that I can get, you know, for the most part. But, and it's really fun for me to be in a play like this, which is, I'm on stage the whole time. I mean, it's a big part for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm always attracted to anyone who, you know, causes a little trouble, you know.
What do you think when big stars, big Hollywood stars say, you know what I really love is the theater. I wish I could get back to the theater.
Yeah, right.
Does that drive you crazy?
Yeah, I think Tommy Lee Jones said, I would love to be able to afford to do theater. It's like, oh, kiss my ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there are some actors who are really committed to it, which are like Al Pacino does theater a lot. There's lots of actors that are really, and I think that everyone would be attracted to it because it's really immediate. It's like being in front of an audience. You know what I mean? That's what everyone got into it in the first place for.
Do you ever worry, because I think about this sometimes when I see a play, that somebody in the audience is just going to run up on stage?
Yeah. I welcome it. So, I mean, you know, like I think like some actors get really like I kind of like it in a way. Like especially like when I was doing Zoo Story, there was a guy who had his feet on the stage, and it was really bugging me.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to do that old joke. I'm like, are you in showbiz? No, then get your feet off the stage. You know, but I did, and he really bugged me, and I think all I did was because I spit a lot when I talk, so I got downstage, so I was like spitting on him a lot, and then I get stabbed in Zoo Story, and I tried to get right in front of him so they could bleed. You know, I was trying to like splatter blood on him. You know, but I like, you know, we did I did The Chosen, you know, the Potok story, you know, and at one point I had to speak Hebrew, and we were doing, it was at Steppenwolf, it was at it was like high school audiences, and you know, some of those kids, it's great, because like the lights go down, you can see them, they just go like, it's like as the lights are going down, they like zip up, they're like, here comes 90 minutes of sleep, and it's like, they don't even give it a chance. But I said, like, I remember quoting something in Hebrew, and just someone from the balcony going, "Say what?" And I love it, you know, like I'm all about them. I dig the audience, you know. I'm not one of those guys like I don't like the response. I'm like, you know, I remember and then like someone sneezes and just go like, "Bless you," like I'm with you.
What about the cell phone thing? That's got to drive you crazy.
Yeah, that's sort of annoying.
Because they tell you beforehand.
They do. They say, and I wish the speech should be this, because they always say turn your cell phones on. I think it should be, you. No, seriously, you. Check your phone. Because everyone thinks their phone is off. Someone's phone is on. Yeah. You know, but that doesn't happen as much as you'd think. I don't think. But it's weird because some people come back and go, oh, can you believe that person talking? I'm like, really? Were they talking? I didn't hear them. You know?
Yeah. Oh, you don't hear it on the stage?
Sometimes I don't. I don't know. Depends.
Huh. What I know you've probably answered these questions to death in the past, and I know it's been a while, but the Cider House Rules. Talk to us about that experience just real briefly, because it's become kind of known in the Chicago world.
Oh, it was special for us. It was it was like a 6-hour play, 2-part, and we did it on like nothing. And what was great about it is we just had this buy-in from the cast. We had just like this young cast, and it was like, I don't know, 18 or 20 of them, and they just, you know, like when that had that mentality, and just everyone was just in on it. And they would have done anything for us. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. It was really special. And it was just, we were all kind of just in on it, you know?
Do you like the rehearsal process?
I do. I mean, it depends. Like some plays are more fun to rehearse than to do. You know, like you rehearse them and then you're bored with them, and then doing them's a drag. And then sometimes the rehearsal sucks, and then doing it. Like this play's been. I think the race is going to be really fun to do, because we've had a good rehearsal, but it's like we want the audience. You know.
I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
So, well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Marc Grapey, Race at the Goodman.
Thank you very much.